Hello, I'm attorney Paul Whalen from Afford Law. At Afford Law, we practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our rates are based on your income, so the less you make, the less you pay. On today's episode, we're going to be addressing grandparents' visitation rights in Massachusetts. Do grandparents have the right to visitation in a divorce in Massachusetts? Well, the grandparent has a legal right to request visitation with their grandchild from the court during or after the divorce, or when one parent passes away. A parent can request visitation if the grandparent, can request visitation if the parents are still married but living apart, but the separation must be a court-ordered separation. They can ask for visitation if the parents are divorced from each other, if the parents are deceased, either one or both parents, or if the parents were never married and they are living apart, and the father has signed a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, or there is a court judgment saying that he is the father, basically establishing that the putative father is indeed the father. So in these cases, maternal grandparents, that's the parents of the mother, have an advantage over the maternal grandparents have an advantage over the paternal grandparents in that they may request visitation if the parents live apart and there's no signed voluntary acknowledgement of parentage or no court order. That's because in Massachusetts, if a child is born to parents who are not married, unless the father is on the birth certificate or has been deemed to be the father, the mother has sole legal and physical custody of the child. So what legal rights do grandparents have to see their children? Really, they have no right to see their children. They have the right to ask the court for permission, but they have no right standing on their own. They have no standing to see the grandchildren if the parents don't want to allow that. Sometimes when we get asked, can a parent deny a grandparent visitation of their child? Generally, the answer is yes. If the parents want the grandparents involved in their children's life, they can certainly do so. They're free to do so. But if for some reason the parents don't want the grandparents involved in their children's lives, the grandparents are basically out of luck unless the court grants them permission to do so. As a grandparent, sometimes we have clients come in as a grandparent asking, how do I get visitation of my grandchild, if indeed that's possible? So again, you must fall into one of those categories that we listed already. And if you do, you have to file a petition with the court. The petition has to include an affidavit, and an affidavit is simply a written sworn statement, so it's under oath, under the pains and penalties of perjury. And in that affidavit, you want to show to the court what your attachment is with the child or the children, and how that would benefit them. So you have to include your involvement and relationship between you and your grandchild or grandchildren. Why the contact was reduced or ended, if it was. You want to emphasize the current level of contact with the child. So if you're very active in the child's life, if you do a lot of babysitting, if you're with the child quite a bit, that's going to go a long way in convincing the court to grant you some visitation rights. And you also must show, this is critical, that there would be significant harm to the health, safety, or welfare if you were denied visitation of the child. Keep in mind, everything in the probate and family court having to do with custody and visitation of children, it's all guided by the principle of the best interest of the children. What is in the best interest? So you have to show to the court that it indeed is in the best interest for you to be in your grandchild's life. And furthermore, the child would be very much harmed if you were denied that visitation with your grandchild. The court can give grandparents some visitation if you show at the hearing that, it's in the grandchild's best interest, that you had an important relationship with your grandchild at some point, and it would be very harmful for the child's health, safety, and welfare if you weren't granted that visitation. And parents sometimes come in asking, can I deny my parents the right to see their children, my parents or my spouse's parents, the right to see their children? And basically the answer is yes. you can stop anyone except for the other parent from having visitation or parenting time or whatever with the child. That is your right. The law, the court gives great deference to the role of parents in their child's life. So if you feel that it's not in your child's best interest to have a relationship with your parent or the parent of the other parent, you can deny them visitation. They still have the right to go to court, to petition to court, to ask for permission to do so. They have an uphill battle, to be quite honest. It's not easy for grandparents to get visitation if the parents are not willing to do so. There has to be some pretty significant issues in the child's life and in the relationship that would allow the court to do so. So basically, that's sort of grandparents' rights in a nutshell. As I say, we at Afford Law practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our fees are all based on our client's income. So the less you make, the less you pay. Please feel free to visit us at affordlaw.org. We have a lot of information for you there. Feel free while you're there to book a free virtual appointment. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions you have about grandparents' rights or anything having to do with family or criminal law in Massachusetts. Where our whole reason for being is we want to give voice to the hardworking men and women of Massachusetts, give them a voice in the courtroom, which they have been denied for so long. At Afford Law, we're making justice affordable. Thank you.